Hi everyone, Joe here. Welcome to my part 2 in my Spring Easter 2018 series, Plain and Simple. And here I am in the dining room. And I don't know if you got a chance to catch my part 1 of the series, my formal living room, Plain and Simple. I'll link that below in the description box so you can take a look at that if you missed it. But here we are in, winter decoration here, and I'm going to start out by lightening up in here as well. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change out this window treatment to something really light, probably white. And I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to get rid of that darker flower arrangement in the corner. I want something light and springy, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do on the table, because you know what? If you know me, you know I didn't figure it out yet. I'm thinking about it, but I haven't actually put anything down on paper or in my brain as to what I really am going to do. So here we go with part 2 in my Spring Easter 2018 series, Plain and Simple. Okay, so there you go. I put up the white shears. That's actually 12 panels that I use for that, because I wanted it, light, but I didn't want it to look flimsy. So there are 12 panels there, and if you're seeing those lights in there, that's, if you saw that video, that's my St. Patrick's window back there. So that will not be changed until after St. Patrick's Day for my Spring Easter window. But anyway, that's not what this is about right now. It's about these curtains. And next up will be the table. So for the center of the table, what I'm going to use is, we have this long fluted vase, which is really good for putting flower arrangements above the table. This way, when people are sitting, you can look through and there's not this big flower arrangement in front of you. Now, I'm just going to put this, like a decorative kind of a table. I don't think I'm setting it or anything like that, because I think we are having Easter. And the table needs to be clear because, Marianne makes a lot of stuff. We have a lot of food and we want to put it on the table. There's no room, to not put it on the table. So that's what we do. But I might be able to leave this arrangement in the middle. But anyway, what I did was I put in, I'm going to use that green. I'm really liking that green this year. So I'm going to use a lot of that very like springy kind of a green. You'll see when I put the arrangement on top. But anyway, I have this fluted vase, and what I did was I put in these tulips in here to kind of give the illusion that they're floating in there. And then I'm going to put the flower arrangement above that, and I'll show you that in a second. Alright, so this is the flower arrangement that I made that's going to go on top of that fluted vase. And you see I just added a couple of those tulips to make it look like it's coming right through the vase and up through the center of this flower arrangement. And what I did was I got a plastic dish at the Dollar Tree. It's right there. And I hot glued in 2 of those styrofoam blocks, for the plants. And then I got these green, they look yellow in the video, but they're like a very pale green. I got some of these, I got the hydrangeas and these, whatever these are, in the Dollar Zone. In fact, I got these in the Dollar Zone as well. And I had these filler leaves. So okay, so there it is sitting on top of that vase. Okay, so I just have to get what I'm putting down on the table, and then I'll put it in place, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's in its right place. Alright, so I took off that burgundy runner that I had there that you saw before, and I put down this, I can see it on the video, it's not coming out right. This is like a celery green, and I'm really liking this green this year for spring. It feels kind of like fresh. Obviously it's green, but it's like refreshing to see after all the dark colors we've had. And what I have here is I bought a 70-inch round, you see, so the 2 ends are open. Now remember, I'm just gonna put stuff out here for like a spring decoration. I'm not setting the table because when we eat, everything has to be cleared off anyway because we put food on the table, so we don't leave it all decorated and stuff like that. So there's a lot of us and we need to move the stuff around. So for the decoration part, this is where I am starting with this celery green tablecloth. So the next thing on is the flower arrangement, and you see, like I said, well, the light is glaring, but again, it's that celery kind of a green, and I have a little bit of that pink in here. And if you were to sit, so I'm going to pretend I'm sitting in the chair, and you could actually see right across from the table, and the flower arrangement would not be in the way because it is up there. So while I'm doing this inside, this is what's going on outside. Again, second storm in a week, and we're supposed to get 6 to 12 inches today from this one, and it started late, and I'm hoping that it's not going to happen, but it's accumulating pretty fast. Okay, so I changed my mind. I took out that pinkish color and I put the yellow in because this celery tablecloth has a lot more yellow in it, and as well as these. I wish that glare wasn't there, but again, like I said, we're having this winter storm again, and there is absolutely no sun. The plow just passed. Okay, let me move on. Next, I use these 3 terracotta pots that are kind of like washed with green paint very lightly. And what I did was I put in each one of them 3 of these yellow tulips, and I added a piece of that eucalyptus and another little, leaf there. And then I covered it with the moss from the Dollar Tree. And I put 3 of those on the bottom because, remember, like I told you before, in the living room, I'm trying to do this plain and simple and very more spring-like. I'm not adding a lot of bunnies and things like that. So next up, I'll do the next layer and we'll see where. Next up, I added these crystal candle holders, and that's an LED candle in there. And I just tied this this vine around here, and I'm going to move that around in a second. So I have those at each end. Next, I made this little basket. I had the white basket just like I have in the living room over there. And what I did was I just put some of that moss in and a few leaves, and then 3 of these eggs, which are kind of like paper mache, and they, there it goes, it clears up so you can see what that looks like. And I have one of those at each end. Okay, so I think I finished the table now. I just put that vine in there, and I put a few of the other tulips kind of like laced in there, and I scattered some of those eggs also. So let me back up so you can see that, and I'll just finish up the room. I'm not liking the way it's looking in the video, to tell you the truth. I might have some adjustment here. Okay, so I changed it out because I really wasn't happy with the way that looked. So well, you can see what I did here is I left the basket with a few of those paper mache eggs in there, and I took that vine and I wrapped it around the candle holder rather than have it across the table. It was too nothingness. It just kind of looked bad there. And I have this crystal dish right here that has the same pattern on it that those 2 candle holders have, and I put more of those paper mache eggs in there. And like I told you, once again, you can't really get the right color here. That's a kind of a celery green, and it's coming off beige looking. I'm going to back up so you can see how it looks with the flower arrangement. There's a lot of glare from the chandelier right now, so it's a little bit difficult to see. And then what else I did in this room was I just lightened up the room. Remember, I said that's what we're going to do. So I changed out those burgundy lampshades to the white ones. And then in the china closet, up above there just have more tulips kind of like, you know, flopping around out up there like they usually do because the flower's too heavy for the plant. And then over here I have these some forsythia and some other like this branch with these little buds coming out on it, and I took that big beaker there and I filled it with water and I put it in there to make them look like they're alive and not fake. And then over here, same thing. I changed the white curtains out, and you saw that, and another white shade over there. So that's the dining room for spring and Easter. And this was part 2 in my spring Easter plain and simple. And it is plain, but to be honest with you, it wasn't too simple because it was kind of driving me a little bit crazy. The whole thing just drove me crazy. But I think I'm kind of happy with it right now. I hope Marianne is going to like it too when she sees it. And look for part 3 coming up soon. I think that's going to be the family room. And like always, drop me a comment. You know, I like to hear from you. Subscribe if you haven't. I have a lot of holiday things that you might like. And I guess I'll be seeing you really soon. And hopefully next video, it will not be snowing again. Okay, bye everybody.